just run down through it and kind of show you guys what we had put together, just kind of scrape the surface. So can you all see my screen here? Yeah. So this part of the presentation is obviously more specific to merchant services and electronic payments. So this is me and Charlie in our professional state here, not sitting at our houses at our kitchen tables. This is when we get all dolled up. So again, I handle merchant services for KeyBank for basically Waterville and South, right straight down through the state. Charlie handles the northern area as well as out on the coast, Belfast, Rockland, Camden, that area. So we're both, equal partners, just a geographical difference there. But we are branch partners, so we support our branches when it comes to merchant services. We're both KeyBank employees who have been here for quite a few years. And we both started our banking careers on the retail side, so working in the branches with KeyBank. So we have been on both sides, and we've been working with small businesses for quite some time. So we feel like we have a lot of value to add, and we've both been working with electronic payments for just under, I think, 4 years now. We both started on this team on the exact same day, actually. So this is just kind of an overview of what merchant services does. So we're definitely not a one-size-fits-all solution. We can help a range of different businesses with getting paid. That's what we specialize in. We specialize in helping our small business clients get paid, which is very important. It's not something that we want to take our clients a very long time, and it's not something that we want to cost them a ton of money. So we try to kind of optimize those two things. We can help with mail order or telephone order, so taking payments over the phone and invoicing, which has become much more popular within the last year because of the reduction in contact. We do offer retail POS solutions, so that's like for your restaurants. We do e-commerce, so website purchases or even donate now buttons on websites. And then my screen here so I can see the rest of the presentation. And then obviously existing POS integrations, which may be more popular with some of the lodging businesses who have really niche systems that they use for check-ins, checkouts, things like that. In many cases, we can come in on the back end and just handle their processing for them while they continue to utilize the software that they already have in place. So we have a pretty wide range of ways that we can help our clients accept payments. And so there was some information here on security. So one of the bullet points that we had put in the presentation was that we were going to talk about, how do we cut down on chargebacks? How do we make sure we're PCI compliant? How do we make sure our cardholder information is secure? And just basically, making sure that we're avoiding those costly chargebacks now that we're taking a lot of payments over the phone. So some of the tools that we have available for security, and Charlie, I don't know if I know you originally were going to talk about this slide and I just stole your thunder, but did you want to add anything? This is more Charlie's wheelhouse. So did you want to add anything to that one?
Yeah, sure. The security piece it's starting to become a little bit more front and center now, with a lot more sales being done over the phone. And when the card is not present like that, what it does is it opens you up to a chargeback. And anybody in the restaurant industry knows this better than Cassie and I would. When the customer is not there presenting the card in person, you're open to a chargeback. So one of the things that we do, to Cassie's point, is we try to make we try to figure out different ways that the restaurant or the business can accept the payment, right? So whether that is online ordering for a website, or if it is invoicing the customer directly, the security that goes along with that, and the likelihood of it being disputed down the road, it's a lot less likely. So we have a few different ways to get that payment to the restaurant that doesn't involve opening them up to any liabilities.
Yeah, and this is really an individualized conversation that we have with the client. A business may have had one chargeback in their entire life, but if that's a $2,000 chargeback, that's a big deal. So it's really something that we want to take, an early stance on and make sure that they are informed and understand how to avoid that and understand what the risk is. I have a restaurant that I work with that since COVID, they're only doing takeout, but they had a lot of people not showing up to pick up their food orders. So they started taking payments over the phone, which is fine, but it's really important to understand that that carries both a higher cost as well as more risk. So they found that they had customers that were getting really creative and sneaky, and they were disputing the transactions after they had, gotten their food, and they knew that they could get away with it because the payment was taken over the phone. So because that card wasn't chipped, it was an automatic charge back to the restaurant, which is really expensive. It probably more expensive than someone not showing up to get their food. So those are the kinds of conversations that we can have with small business clients to help them understand, what the risks are and how to avoid them. We had mentioned something about just, pricing and how to make sure you're getting the best pricing. So there's just a screenshot here of one of a KeyBank merchant statement. Most of the businesses we work with don't review their merchant statements on a regular basis. So just, a reminder to, encouragement to review their statements, know where to find them. A lot of them are electronic now, so you don't actually get anything in the mail. But this statement here breaks down what all of the fees are associated with accepting card payments. And really important to keep an eye on. And then just being able to work with your merchant services provider to find the best pricing program for your business, because one size fits all pricing isn't the best for everyone. Customer base, average transaction size, and monthly volume all play a part in what that pricing program should be. And we are definitely not one size fits all. So we can work with clients to really uncover how they're getting paid, who their customers are, and what's going to be the best option for them. We also can help them get PCI compliant. PCI non-compliance fees can range anywhere from $29.95 per month. I've seen them all the way up to $399 per month. One of our biggest competitors here in the state of Maine charges $125 a month. So it's not unheard of. I would say probably more statements that we look at than not have non-compliance fees on them. So we're going to help clients get PCI compliant, which is going to give them better protection as well as save them a lot of money. And then, we can talk about if we have businesses that are fully seasonal, like they completely shut down for a period of the year, we have the ability to close that merchant account temporarily so that they're not paying monthly fees when they don't need it. And then we also, have been hearing a lot about businesses being approached by merchant services providers saying that they can obviously save them a ton of money and or even reduce their fees to zero by passing those fees on to their customers, which is not legal in the state of Maine. So we're always happy to have, even though our small businesses in the state of Maine are always solicited to this. So we're always happy to have a conversation about that if a business is considering charging their client for paying with a credit card and what the risks are to doing that, since it's not legal. Just some slides here on some of the solutions that we offer. So this falls under the POS retail solution category. So this is for retail, restaurants, and many other types of businesses we use these for as well. But this is kind of one of the bigger tools that we offer within Key Merchant Services. And then this is the coolest thing, in my opinion, that we offer, which is the Clover Flex. We have a lot of restaurants who are utilizing this tool specifically because it's wireless. So this device allows a restaurant to be able to do curbside, be able to take payments right at their customer's window. It also allows them to take orders and payments right at the table. It's completely contactless, and gives the restaurant owner the ability to do that. Additionally, for lodging, this can serve as a standalone terminal, a standalone credit card terminal to process payments. We have a lot of clients who just use this as a credit card terminal and not necessarily the full POS. It can function on either end of that spectrum and anywhere in between. But it does have, the chip card availability. It also has the NFC reader, which can take Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, all of the tap cards. So really cuts down on that contact, has a built-in receipt printer, and will do everything that the full big POS system will do.
And just to circle back to the flex part real quick too, curbside, obviously, again, I don't need to tell anybody here, curbside is becoming more and more popular and it's in demand. And when we're driving around and we see a restaurant that is closed for dine-in, but they're doing curbside or whatever you want to call it, they're walking the food from inside the restaurant out to the person's car. So what that does is they bring the flex with them. They can actually run the customer's card in person. With what Cassie was saying just right then, it's a huge difference in the security and also the rate that's being paid. All right, so this is one of the things where anytime I drive by a place, there's a Chinese restaurant right up the road from here. I've mentioned it to her a few times and I cannot get her to take it because she doesn't have internet at the restaurant. So it does need internet, or you need to have a cell signal inside the Flex. There's a SIM card inside of these devices. So, you can walk this thing right out to the car. And one thing that happens when you're doing that is you're getting a tip, or you're able to get a tip when you might not have been able to get one originally. So we see a lot of benefit in this just for walking it outside. Yeah, sorry to cut you off, Cass.
No, I appreciate your insight as well. And it actually made me think of another thing too, is I had mentioned it very quickly, but you can bring these devices right to the table at a in-dining experience and send orders to the kitchen right from this device, which is something that we're seeing a lot more of in other countries. But it's coming to the States and it's starting to be popular. And you can take the payment right in front of that customer. So no longer am I walking into a back room with a customer's card, not knowing if I'm ever going to come back. I can just take the payment right at the customer's table, give them their receipt. I can text their receipt or email a receipt as well, if the client prefers. So because this is an app-based system, it's very customizable. I know we're speaking to just a couple of different, industries today, but it is very customizable. Some of the things that are universal it comes with a free time clock. So for employees, within this time clock, you can now also program in a questionnaire for your employees to fill out every time they clock in. So when they clock in, it can ask them, do you have a fever today? Do you have any of the common COVID symptoms? Have you been in contact with anyone? And it will pop right up on the screen and ask your employee these questions, so that not only are you doing your due diligence as a business owner, but you have a record of those answers as well.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. And so within the Homebase app, you can also build out schedules. You can text reminders, or your employees can set up to have reminders texted to them for when they have shifts. There's some securities in place. Some of the devices will actually take the employee's picture when they punch in, just to make sure that there's no funny business going on with employees punching each other in and out. There is an app that will sync everything to QuickBooks. We know a lot of our small business clients use QuickBooks for accounting, so there's an app for that. There's a great sales tax app, which our restaurant owners love, as well as many other businesses love. It will actually collect, it'll sweep out sales tax on a daily basis. So it's actually pulled out of your account automatically. And then they will file and pay your sales taxes for you automatically on a monthly or quarterly basis, so that you can literally just set it and forget it. This is actually an app that was developed in Maine, right in, I think it started in Gorham or Westbrook, right in that
Or
area.
Brunswick, yeah, right in that
Yeah,
area.
somewhere in that area, but
Yeah.
it's a super cool app. We've learned from them that, with restaurant sales tax, it's one of the main reasons why restaurants don't survive. So this is another tool that we can offer.
That's the Clover app or a different one?
So Clover is the software. These are apps that are available to put on Clover.
And these are all KeyBank apps or just ones that you're working with?
Yeah, so Clover, within the Clover app market, there are apps that are owned and offered by Clover, and then there's also third-party apps. Just like if you went onto your cell phone and downloaded an app, you could get third-party apps. So some of these are Clover apps, and some of them are third-party apps. The Davos Sales Tax app is a third-party app.
I wondered about that. They're one of our new Outline members.
Oh, cool.
And they want to do one of these.
Yeah, I bet. we know him very well, and he likes to present.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he probably could do a really great presentation, and then hopefully send everyone that's interested over to us to get the Clover.
I do feel bad that no one else is here. So we are going to set one up with Davo. I don't know if it would make sense for Cassie for you to be involved with that, because we were trying to come up with a hook for that one, and their marketing manager said we can talk about apps.
Yeah, it might make sense for us to team up. We've done a few joint presentations with him before, just at the branch level and at the client level. So it might make sense. We could definitely discuss that further.
Good.
Yeah,
to be helpful.
Yeah, so it's a very customizable system. This is just a small snippet of the apps or some of the apps that are available. I think, Charlie, keep me honest, but I think there's over 300 at this point, 200 or 300 apps that are available. These are just kind of more popular ones.
Yeah. Sounds about right. And yeah, each one has a trial. Typically they have trials. So you can sign up for it, give it a shot. And if you don't like it within the first minute or two, you can just uninstall it, give it the 14-day trial. There are a few on there, which in the restaurant section, that are pretty good. And one example is Chowly. And Chowly, for anybody that's doing DoorDash or Uber Eats or whatever, they might have 3 or 4 or 5 different iPads inside of their restaurant. And when an order comes in online, it's going to fire to the iPad. Then they have to go over to their point of sale. They have to enter everything into the point of sale. So this third-party app actually has the restaurant take that tablet that, we'll say, DoorDash gave them, get rid of the tablet, and everything would flow right through here. All right. So there are some really good benefits to some of the apps that are in here.
Right. Yeah. Thank you for highlighting that one, Charlie. You're right. We have a lot of restaurants who have turned to services like DoorDash and whatnot, and it's not a great process. Basically, like he said, the order comes into a tablet. The hostess or waitstaff then needs to take that order and enter it into their POS system to send it to the kitchen, mark it as paid, and it messes up all of their accounting. It's not a good system. So this will integrate all of them into one system, and it will send it automatically to the kitchen. So that is a really great one to highlight. So just going to touch briefly on this. This is more restaurant specific. This is Clover online ordering. So this is something that we rolled out, or that Clover rolled out shortly after COVID, I think, started, when restaurants were scrambling to find online ordering options. We still have found, though, that many restaurants that we work with really want to be able to do Clover online order, or want to be able to do online ordering, but really have no idea where to start. Think it's going to be a really big undertaking. It's going to be really expensive. This is something super simple that we can help set up, and right now it's free. When you have Clover, this is a free service. They'll actually build the web page for online ordering, and link it to their website, and link it to like a Google search. And this is something super simple that we can help them set up and start.
Has that been pretty popular for you?
Yeah, it definitely has. I know, Charlie, you've done a bunch of them just with our
Yes.
existing clients. They've turned to us and asked for help with it. And we have a lot that have gone from, doing things the old fashioned way, just taking orders over the phone, to this system. I know they've had a lot of issues with phone lines being tied up and not being able to get through. And there's a restaurant here in my area, and you can call them, 10 times and the line's always busy. So something like this is customizable, so they can set it and say, how many orders are we going to take within this time frame, so they're not going to get overwhelmed. But it's a great
And
way.
that's part of the Clover service if you purchase the Clover.
Yep, if you purchase the Clover POS system, this is something that comes with it, standard feature.
Right.
And then just wanted to touch on some contactless options that we also rolled out within the last year. Mostly we were working on rolling them out, but they got a little bit expedited due to COVID. So right now, our Clover clients, guests can now scan a QR code to view an online menu. So what we found is a lot of restaurants are providing paper menus that they have to throw away after every customer. So they can now put I saw one the other day in a window, a great big like QR code, but they can put that QR code really anywhere within the restaurant. The customer can use their phone to scan that code and get access to the full menu of the restaurant. They don't necessarily need to order online, but they can look up the menu and then order from the wait staff.
I've seen that. I've done that at Luke's Lobster in Portland.
Yeah.
With their customer.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've heard of them, but I'm not sure. But yeah, it's becoming, very popular. I met with a restaurant down in Old Orchard Beach the other day, and we were talking about that because in the summertime, they're really concerned. They don't want a bunch of customers coming inside to order or to look at their menus for takeout. They really want to keep people outside. So they have, the QR codes right in their windows, right outside. So you can literally stand, on the side of the street, which many people do in Old Orchard Beach in the summer, take a, shot of that QR code, at least look at the menu, even place your order right online, and then either, walk into just to pick up the food, or you can even bring the food right outside to them.
Now, was this designed before COVID, or is it an answer to COVID?
I think it was in progress. I think it got moved along a little bit quicker because of COVID, but it was definitely in progress. And then the last pillar of it is that guests can complete their payment with their mobile device. So as a wait staff, when I print off their bill and I put it on their table, it can have a QR code on that bill that the customer can take a snapshot of that QR code and complete their payment right on their mobile device. So just more tools to cut down on contacts, streamline things, get guests in and out quicker, which is important, and maybe even, be able to manage guests effectively with less wait staff.
And I'll add to that real quick, Cassie, if I can, is one thing that we noticed was the online ordering piece is actually customizable. So the website part that's being built is going to be the same that a customer would see when they scan the QR code that Cassie's talking about. So it pulls up the online ordering page, and what the restaurant can do is they can move certain items to the top, or they can move items down below. So if they actually have a surplus of something that they need to sell by a certain time or a certain day, the restaurants that move that to the top are actually seeing those sell faster, right? And it was not something that was intended by Clover when they rolled this out, but it is something that they noticed. So they're starting to say, if you have something that needs to go by, we'll say next Thursday, we got to move that up to the top. So editing the specials, and that another benefit to it.
Yeah, to cut down on waste. Yeah, thank you. So this slide here is really pertinent to any business. This is just a snapshot of what we call the Clover dashboard. So anytime you purchase any Clover device, whether you're going to use it as a full restaurant POS or whether you're going to use it as a credit card terminal, you get access to this Clover dashboard, which you can access from anywhere. You can access it on any web browser through clover.com, or you can. It also has a mobile app where you can access it. So any restaurants, mainly that are working off from some of the older POS systems, don't have this capability, and love that they're able to access this information from wherever they are. So they can pull this up, get real-time numbers. I pulled this from one of our real clients this morning, and I could see that already today that they had done $476 in sales. It's cloud-based, so these are real in-time numbers. So I can pull any kind of reporting that I want. I can pull it by day, by employee, by which items are selling the most, which items are selling the least. I can pull tip reporting. I can pull payroll reporting from here. I can add or remove employees from here. I can update my inventory, update specials, prices, really anything I could possibly need to do with regarding my POS system, we can do from this dashboard. So this is a nice tool. Yeah.
Regarding the workforce component, when you say you can add employees, does it include scheduling at all, or?
Yeah, so you can, great question. So from the dashboard, you can click on home base. It will bring you to a separate portal, which is the home base portal, but you can do all of your scheduling from there. You can pull the time reports to send to your payroll company from there. So you can access all of that. It's not, the link to it is in the Clover dashboard, but it links you over to the home base app.
Cool, thank you. So it sort of cuts back on administrative costs on that end as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It
has the potential.
Potentially could, right? Yeah.
Cool.
Absolutely. Yep. So this
Thank you. That's helpful.
You're welcome. And the access to this dashboard can be given to anyone within the business that needs it. So right now we know a lot of businesses have people working remotely. I just worked with someone, their CFO is working remotely, but everyone else is in the office. So we need to give access, obviously the CFO would need access anyway, but she can get access from home and be able to pull up all this information right from home. And the owner of the business or the manager has the full access to update all of these things. So, with the older systems, a lot of times if you want to make changes, you have to, if you want to make changes to your menu or changes to who has access to the system, you have to reach out to the POS provider. This gives you a lot of control to be able to do it all yourself right through the dashboard.
And I'll add to that real quick too. The one benefit that we're seeing more and more of are CPAs. So we'll say this restaurant is ABC Corp, right? Now go to the employee section and add an employee. And what you can do is actually add your CPA or your accountant to it. And what that accountant can now do is log into Clover and pull whatever information they need to get from Clover without having to bother the restaurant owner. So another benefit to the cloud-based dashboard.
Yeah. Looks like it saves a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And to that point, Charlie, it also gives you control over the permissions. So basically when you set up employees, you give them each a title. So whether that be wait staff, head of house, whatever that may be, front, office manager, you control who can access what. So who in your business do you want to be able to issue refunds? Who do you want to be able to close out or adjust tips or, look at reporting or change inventory? You have full control over which positions can make those changes or access that information. From our experience working with restaurants, that's where most of the fraud comes from. Wait staff deleting checks or deleting items off from checks or refunding checks. can cost restaurant owners thousands and thousands of dollars. So this is really going to put a checks and balances system in place so that you don't have to worry about those things. But that brings us to the end of the slides that I've prepared. So, and I was just going to open up to questions. I don't know if anyone here has any questions.
I was just wondering, at which point do you think a business would purchase this? And it, you know, like with us, if we're out talking to members and some of them just opened or they've been open for a while, when would be a good time for them to think about Clover?
Yeah, I think it really varies for the business. It really varies depending on, you know, if some of these tools are something that they've been thinking about. What we're finding is they're tools that people are thinking about, and they're not sure, they don't have a local person to work with on their existing POS system. They're not really sure where to start. And that's a great time for us to start the conversation. Obviously, anyone starting a new business, it's a great time for us to talk to them. But usually we find that, you know, many restaurants are working off some of the older legacy POS systems that don't have any of these functions. And so that's really right now, we're finding a lot of restaurants are looking for those features specifically.